All-Star Batman debuts next month and breathes new life into some of the Dark Knight's infamous enemies, starting with the unpredictable Two-Face. We're flipping a coin with writer Scott Snyder and artist John Romita Jr. to find out how this series intensifies Batman's world. I want to ask you, what sets All-Star Batman apart from the other Batman titles?
For me, I mean, All-Star came about when I was working on regular Batman with Greg, and I knew Greg was leaving, and my feeling was I still had these big stories I wanted to do, especially about the villains. There were so many villains that I hadn't gotten to write about, from Two-Face to Mr. Freeze, and so I had this idea to bring in some of my favorite creators in comics and some friends, and get to do an ongoing series that would really sort of do the biggest, craziest stories we could in ways that haven't been done before with these characters that are so legendary. And so DC, Dan and Jim and Jeff suggested that we call it All-Star because the people coming to the book would be sort of the best talents and all of that.
All-star?
Yes, you are, dude. You're the biggest.
I'm an all-star.
And so, and this series for me is really how to examine each villain in a way that sort of elevates them, shows why they're amazing, and to do it with artists that really challenged me to write very, very differently. So
This is not a fantasy Superman out of space kind of thing. This is ground level, nasty Batman stuff. And this is outside of Gotham City, even more different than anything he's done and what I've done naturally. It's the coolest thing I've ever done because it's outside the mainstream of a superhero's area of expertise. And once he's out of his jet, he's with country people, a couple of interesting looking characters. But this is street level stuff that I have always loved. No alleys though, unfortunately. No rats behind boxes in a back alley.
Just open dirt road.
Because take the costume off the character. This would be a great film.
Nice.
Is what this guy has to go through to get this character to this spot. But you can apply this without costumes. This could be some cop from the middle of a city that is going to get this guy to that spot no matter what. This is a great story without Batman in it. And now that we have Batman added to it and Two-Face, it's that much better.
What is it like capturing the essence of Batman in this book?
Batman, I didn't think of him as a chiseled, 2% body fat, perfect character. And the temptation is to do that, and yet everybody draws him with every muscle and sinew showing. I wanted to make him a little bit more human, and it's almost impossible to do. You can't stop yourself sometimes.
This guy is so humble. I can't even tell you, like, even just the covers that he sent in that you guys haven't seen yet, like, and some of the sketches for Batman. It's almost like someone coming to the table and saying, I see you and I raise, what do you do? And for me, it was like, well, if I'm gonna do a Two-Face story, how do I up my game? And I realized the way to do it is take it out of Gotham and make it a road trip story. I've never seen a Batman road trip story. Make it different flavor, violent, kinetic, grindhouse, but also really about now, make it personal, all of that stuff. And so even just seeing how good he was on Dark Knight made me have to up myself. For me, my favorite moment in the first issue is Batman is taking Two-Face, in the plane to this place where he's going to cure him. And Two-Face says, look down at the country, like look down. And he says, do you think that it's full of good people? Do you think it's full of bad people? Make your bet, like place your bet. And in a big way, I mean, the story, as fun as it is and as zany as it is and all of that, it's also very personal. It's very much about Batman going out there and saying, we are better than our worst impulses. And it's about Two-Face saying, our worst impulses are who we are. It really is Batman and Two-Face saying, are we essentially the good versions of ourselves, the people that we hope we can be, or are we the people we're afraid we are?
That's a sneak peek at All-Star Batman, but make sure you also check out the Rebirth one-shots for the Hellblazer and Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. They're available at your local comic book shop today, so check them out, and I'll see you at Comic-Con, Super Friends.